There are men who dig for gold, and then there are men who bet everything on it. In the frozen wilderness of the Yukon, where the air bites hard and the ground gives nothing easily, a young miner from Alaska stands at the edge of a decision that could define his entire season or destroy it. Parker Schnabel is not the kind of man who plays it safe. He never has been. At an age when most people are still figuring out who they are, Parker had already built one of the most formidable gold operations in the history of the Klondike. But this time, he isn't just betting on a claim. He's betting on 4 of them, simultaneously, for wash plants, 4 crews, for chances for catastrophic failure, and 1 chance at something truly historic. To understand the weight of Parker's gamble, you have to understand how far he's come. Season after season, this mining prodigy has expanded his operation beyond what most veterans would dare attempt. He runs some of the most productive ground in the entire Klondike, cuts with names like Dominion Creek, the Bridge Cut, and the Golden Mile, stretches of earth that Parker has studied, mapped, and bled over like a general studying a battlefield. By the time this season reaches its midpoint, he's already banked over $23 million in gold, numbers that would make most miners retire on the spot. But Parker isn't most miners. His operating costs alone burn through millions, and with a season goal of 10,000 ounces staring him down, every idle machine is money dissolving into the permafrost. So he does what Parker Schnabel always does. He goes bigger. He brings in $1 million machine, the Golden Goose, all the way from New Zealand, drops it at Dominion Creek, and christens it with the kind of quiet confidence that only comes from years of hard-won experience. For wash plants now turn the Yukon earth, Lucifer, Big Red, Bob, the Golden Goose, for mechanical hearts beating at the center of his empire. But the Klondike doesn't care about ambition. It never has. Just weeks before the season's end, the gold numbers begin to fall. Quietly at first, a dip here, a soft way in there, and then unmistakably, undeniably, the cuts that once delivered jaw-dropping returns start tightening up, and the pressure on Parker's shoulders grows heavier by the hour. And then comes the issue that keeps him up at night, the Golden Mile, buried beneath that stretch of pay ground, the problem that has nothing to do with gold grades and everything to do with the future of his mine plan. If that dirt isn't cleared, if those pits are left with pay and the ground isn't managed properly, it will create what Parker himself calls a domino effect of pain, suffering, and heartache. The long-term damage could set his entire operation back by years. So he makes the call that turns his foreman Tyson Lee's face to stone: shut down Lucifer and Big Red, pull their crews, redirect every available hand to the Golden Mile, and do it within 7 days. The cost, potentially $750,000 in lost gold per week. The machines go quiet. The silence on those pads is deafening, and every man on the crew feels it. There is a moment in every great gamble when the chips are down, the clock is running, and there is absolutely nothing left to do but work. For Parker's crew, that moment arrives in the exhausting, relentless push to clear the Golden Mile while simultaneously keeping the remaining wash plants alive. Trucks break down, drive shafts fail in the field, mechanics scavenge boneyard junkyards in the middle of the night hunting for spare parts. Foreman Tyson Lee pushes his men to their limit, and the men push back, not out of defiance, but out of pride. When the Golden Mile is finally cleared enough to bring the wash plants back online, Parker doesn't ease back into it. He runs all 4 at the same time. The scale of the operation in those final weeks is something that even seasoned Klondike veterans shake their heads at. Machines roaring across multiple claims, pay moving through sluice boxes at a rate that the ground can barely keep up with. The weekly weigh-ins start climbing again, slowly, then all at once. Bob at the Bridge Cut delivers. Roxanne holds her own. The Golden Goose earns her name. And when the crew breaks through the 7,000-ounce mark, there's no celebration. Just a hard nod and the quiet acknowledgement that the race for 10,000 has only just begun. In the end, the Klondike doesn't reward the careful man. It rewards the relentless one. Parker Schnabel's 4-wash gamble, a decision that cost him sleep, cost him millions in potential output, and cost his crew some of the hardest days of the season, pays off in the only currency that matters up here: gold. Weigh-in after weigh-in, the numbers climb. The ground that almost broke his season becomes the ground that saves it. And standing there in the cold Yukon air, watching the cleanup unfold, Parker doesn't look like a man who got lucky. He looks like a man who knew exactly what he was doing all along, and had the nerve to see it through when everyone else might have blinked. Because that's what separates the great miners from the good ones. It was never about having the best equipment, or the richest ground, or even the most experience. It was about the willingness to bet on yourself, fully, completely, without a safety net, and then go to work. The gold was always there, waiting beneath the Yukon earth. It was just waiting to see if Parker Schnabel was worthy of finding it.